Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next game in the 1987 Super Advanced replay. I'm trying to get this thing fixed the way I want it. When I'd ever do a History Maker game, it seems to mess up my setup for Strat-O-Matic on the webcam. So, see if I can get this thing to stay centralized here. I think that's the best I'm going to be able to do with it right there. All right, so we do have game number 146, the second game of the April 30th block. There are 3 games, all on the West Coast. We just finished Detroit, California. This one's Boston, Seattle, and the final game will be Milwaukee and Oakland. Once the Milwaukee-Oakland game is done, then all games for April will be complete, and we'll be able to go into doing the stats for the month. I'll do a recap video to show all the stats, and hopefully that will be something you guys would enjoy seeing. All right, so we are Boston and Seattle. I did make a little goof there, and when I was doing these sheets ahead of time, I actually wrote Seattle twice down here, and then my correction tape screwed up, so I did the best I could to try to get Boston over top of this. All right, game 146 on April 30th. Scott Bankhead on the mound for the Mariners against Bruce Hurst for the Red Sox. Bankhead 1-0, Bruce Hurst 0-3. Ballpark effects, of course, the Kingdome is a homer dome in 1987, at least according to Strat. So 1-17 for home runs, 1-5 for singles. Seattle enters the game 9-13. Boston enters the game 5-16. And remember the last game we played in this, Boston had a big lead, and then Calvin Schiraldi blew it. And I believe it was the hound dog, Jim Presley, that walked it off. So you never know. Even if the score gets out of hand, you never know what's going to happen after that. All right, pitcher-catcher hold interface. It's a 0 for Bankhead, as he is a -1, but Kearney's a +1. Hurst is a -2, and Sullivan's a 0. Couple of roster notes for the Red Sox. Jim Rice goes on the disabled list. Ellis Burks is called up. Rookie Ellis Burks is making his first appearance. And also Spike Owen has rejoined the Red Sox as well. So get that out of the way. Hopefully it gets everybody caught up to speed. And Scott Bankhead finishing up those warm-up tosses. I'm recording this game so I could play it. I'm recording this on Wednesday so I can play it on Thursday, sometime Thursday morning probably, because I want to try to get, a game in extra compared to the live stream. So I'm trying to get 2 games in. When I have time, I'll try to get 2 games in on one day and then show the next game the following day is what the plan is there. I'm sure that made a ton of sense. But anyway, Scott Bankhead will start things off against Wade Boggs. Bankhead is 1-0 with a 1.88 earned run average, 29 innings pitched, 19 hits, 5 walks, 12 strikeouts. Wade Boggs enters this game hitting .318, 5 homers, and 10 driven in. And we're underway from the Kingdome. 212 for Boggs is a ballpark single check, 1-5, but that's a 17. So he will foul it out to the catcher, Kearney. And that's 1 away. And we're underway from Seattle. Here's Marty Barrett, second baseman. Barrett on the replay, since coming back from injury, is hitting .419 and 31 at bats. No homers, 2 driven in. 2-3 for Barrett, and that's a fly to center. And that makes it 2 easy outs. And that will send up Bill Buckner, first baseman. Buckner on the replay, hitting .272. No homers, 9 driven in. 4-3, left-handed, ground ball pitcher X. That is Bankhead. He's an E0. He's a 3 and an E0. So you know he's not going to make the error. Just have to see if his range will be good enough. And for a 3 range for a pitcher, just has to have a 4 or higher. And he does. So it's a G1, takes care of it easy. 1-3 put out. And that's going to do it for Boston here in the first. They go very quietly. And we go to the bottom of the first. It is Boston 0, Seattle coming to bat. And Bruce Hurst, the left-hander for the Red Sox, is 0-3. A lot of that has to do with non-run support. But then again, he does have a 7.46 earned run average, so that probably has something to do with it too. 25 innings pitched, 36 hits, 15 walks, 28 strikeouts. But that 7.46 ERA really standing out like a sore thumb. Donald Nixon hitting 316, 2 homers, 8 driven in. Leads it off. He is the designated hitter. 3-6 against the lefty, struck him out. So that's a good start for Bruce Hurst. 1 away, and that will send up Phil Bradley. Bradley, the left fielder, hitting only 185, really struggling. A homer and 6 driven in. Maybe he can get well against Bruce Hurst. 5-10. Well, that's ballpark blast. That's a good way to get well. He's got normal power against lefties. 1-17. That's a 1. It's gone. Talk about getting well. Phil Bradley just hit his second home run of the season. What a way to break out and get well. Home run, Phil Bradley, his second. Look at it again. 5-10 against the right-hander is the ballpark blast. It's 1-17. He does have normal power against lefties, weak against righties, but normal against lefties, and that's a 1. So there you go. So Phil Bradley puts the Mariners on the board 1-0. Here's John Christensen, right fielder. He's in there in place of Kingery because of the left-handed Hurst. Dick Williams wants to play the percentages. Christensen in limited duty hitting 333. It's 2 for 6. One of those 2 hits is a triple. No homers or runs batted in. So 3-7, and that's another strikeout. So feast or famine for Hurst. Either he's giving up a home run or he's giving up a strikeout. And here comes the hound dog, Jim Presley. Presley hitting $159, 2 homers, 8 driven in. 210, and that's a ballpark single check. It's 1-5, but that's an 18, so he's going to ground it to short. And that will end the inning. But the Mariners do get a run on the home run from Phil Bradley, and at the end of 1 complete, it is Seattle 1 and Boston 0. That will send up Bankhead to face Baylor, Evans, and Greenwell. Remember, Rice is on the DL. 2-3 for Baylor, and that's a 1-13 home run chance. That's a 4. It's gone. I didn't even get a chance to get Baylor's numbers. He's hitting 263, 2 homers and 12 driven in, but make that 3 homers and 13 driven in because he just goes deep to tie the ball game. 2-3 right here. 1-13 is a home run. That's a 4. It is gone. Don Baylor has just tied the ball game with home run number 3 on the season, RBI 13. And we are tied at a run apiece just that quickly. One swing of the bat ties it. Here's Dewey Evans. He's hitting 296, 3 homers, 16 driven in. 6-4, and that's a catcher X. Catcher Kearney is a 4E9, but nobody's on base, so there's no chance of, pass balls or anything. 4-4. It's probably going to be good enough to get the out. Let's see, 4-4, W/G, and he's an E9, I believe I said. E9. Yep, E9. So he's got to avoid 3, 13, and 18. And he does. So W/G, if we go over here, with runners on base, it's a wild pitch. With no runners on base, the batter hits the in front of the plate. The catcher throws him out. So it's 2-3 ground out as they throw out Evans going to first. Would have been a wild pitch without that, but with somebody on base, I should say. But base is empty. Just a routine ground out. Little worm burner in front of the plate. So here's Mike Greenwell. He is hitting 235, 3 homers and 3 driven in, and 17 at bats. 6-7, and that's a 1-5 single. That's a 15 though, so he will line it to the second baseman, Harold Reynolds, who did watch baseball tonight, so he was able to corral that. Had the technique down to do so. And here is Glenn Hoffman, the shortstop. Hoffman hitting 200, no homers and 2 driven in. 3-7, and he will strike out to end the inning. But the home run from Baylor will tie it. We go to the bottom of the second, still tied at 1 apiece. Here comes Bruce Hurst. He'll be facing Alvin Davis, John Moses, and Bob Kearney. Davis hitting 324, 3 homers, 9 driven in. It's a 4-5 against Hurst, and that's another strikeout. 3 strikeouts for Hurst. That'll bring up John Moses, center fielder, switch hitter, will bat right-handed. He is hitting a .175, homer and 4 driven in. Whoop, we got Sua dice or hopping dice, whatever you want to call them. So we're going to re-roll. My house rule: if all 4 don't land here, we re-roll everything. So it's a 4-5 for Moses, and that's going to be a fly to center field. Out number 2. And that'll bring up the catcher, Bob Kearney. He's had limited at bats in the season. He's 1 for 6, a .167 the average. No homers and no runs driven in. 4-9, and that's a fly to right field. Evans puts it away. It's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Bruce Hurst. So at the end of 2, we're still tied at 1 apiece. And coming up for the Red Sox, it'll be the bottom of the order: Sullivan, Burks, and Boggs. So Sullivan hitting 178. He hit 169 real world, so 178 is pretty much right on around the money. No homers, 5 driven in. It's a 6-8, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Quinones. He's a 3E31. 3 and a 16, he will get to that. E31 is the question. E31, he's got to avoid 4, 6, 15, 16, 17, 18, and a 3. So basically 3, 4, 6, and then 15 through 18. 3, 4, 6, and then 15 through 18. That's a 12. He barely did it. He barely did it. 15 would have started the error, but that's only a 12, so he does make the play. And Sullivan is retired. 1 down. And that'll bring up rookie Ellis Burks, his first at bat of the season since being called up on the right from the Rice injury. In real world, he hit .272 with 20 homers and 59 driven in. 6-10, and that is a ground ball third base X. That's the hound dog, Jim Presley. He's a 2 with an E24. 2 and a 20, he'll get to it. E24 as a third baseman. Look at the chart for that. E24 is a third baseman. 9, 12, 3, 15, and 18. 9, 12, 3, 15, and 18. And that's an 11, so that's barely good enough, but that's all that matters. He makes the play, throwing out Burks, and that's out number 2. Flip the order over to Boggs. He popped out, or fouled out, rather, to the catcher Kearney his first trip. That's a 2-6, and he's going to single to right field. So base hit for Boggs, 2-out single. He will not be held. Haven't had any havoc rolls yet because the 2 hits and 2 runs have been home runs. So this is the first havoc roll of the game. Nothing happening. Here's Marty Barrett. 5-4, and that's a fly to center field. That's going to end the inning as it's put away out there by Moses. And the Red Sox are retired in their half of the third. Go to the bottom of the third, still tied at 1 apiece. And Hurst back out. Will be facing Quinones, Reynolds, and Nixon. Quinones on the replay hitting a .189, no homers, 5 driven in. It's a 1-6 against the lefty, struck him out. 4 strikeouts for Hurst. And here comes Harold Reynolds. He is hitting .258, no homers, 3 driven in. 1-5, and that is a fly ball to left field. Hauled in out there by Greenwell. 2 quick outs. And here comes Donnell Nixon, struck out his first chance. 6-3, that's a ballpark single check, 1-5, but that's a 17. So that is a line drive to short to end the inning. So quick work by Bruce Hurst in the third. We go to the bottom, we go to the fourth rather. We played 3. We go to the top of the fourth. We're tied at 1 here at the Kingdom. Expecting more runs from that ballpark home run possibilities, but there haven't been that many of those rolled. We had 2 home run chances rolled, and they've both been home runs, but both pitchers have been able to limit the amount of home run chances that come up, which is beneficial for them, obviously. All right, here's Bill Buckner. 4-7. That's a single to center field for Billy Buck. But he cannot run it all, so he will. I'm sorry, I got Bradley up there, not Billy Buck. What am I doing? 4-7. Billy Buck left-handed. Still comes off Bankhead's card. It will be a base hit. So, got that little snafu out of the way. Boggs, of course, will not be held. And here is Don Baylor. Baylor hit his third home run of the season, his first time up. 1-8. This time he will draw the base on balls, and all of a sudden the Red Sox have something cooking here in the fourth. A single and now a walk. And that will bring up Dewey Evans. Seattle could use a double play right about now. 2-7, and they get another walk instead. It's going to load the bases. So Bankhead having his issues. Bases are loaded with nobody out. This could be the beginning of a big inning as Mike Greenwell steps to the plate. The only thing that's going to help Bankhead is we're getting to the bottom of the order, so you get lesser hitters. But Greenwell is a good hitter. Infield's back for the double play. They need outs. 3-6. That's a grand slam home run from Mike Greenwell. Look at it right here. 3-6, plain as day, home run. Grand salami for Mike Greenwell. That's his fourth home run, and his RBIs 4, 5, 6, and 7. So in 19 at-bats, he now has 4 home runs. He had 19 the whole season on 412, so he's definitely above his skis. But there you go, grand salami, 3-6, home run, Mike Greenwell. And that just blows this thing wide open. It is now 5-1, and there's still nobody out. Greenwell doing the damage. So here is Hoffman. Fans don't know here in the Kingdom, don't know what to think about that. But the Kingdom had nothing to do with that one. That was just a blast. Here's Hoffman. 5-7, and that is a ground ball. Second base, Harold Reynolds. He's a 2. 2 and a 3. I think he'll be okay with that. Let's double look at it. 2 and a 3 is a G3. Second baseman is an E21. And he's looking at 4-13 and 17. 4-13 and 17. And that's a good play for Harold Reynolds. Again, he learned that from Baseball Tonight, so he's starting to figure it out. Here's Mark Sullivan, catcher. Grounds it short his first trip. 3-6, and that's going to be a strikeout. Sullivan now on strike, so Bankhead starting to regroup a little bit, but it might be too late. And here's Ellis Burks, although you know what happened last time these two teams played with Boston had that big lead and couldn't hold it. Burks now 4-9, and that is a fly to left. Hauled in out there by Bradley to end the inning, but a 4-score inning on the grand slam home run from Mike Greenwell. And we go to the bottom of the fourth. It is now Boston 5, Seattle 1. And Seattle now has their work cut out for him. It'll be Bradley who homered his first time up, then Christensen and Presley. 2-6, and that's a single to right field for Phil Bradley. So he is 2 for 2. And he's a threat to run. Hurst, though, is a -2 with the pitcher-catcher quotient. Would make it a 1-15 if he got the lead, but they got to get something started. They want to try to get something started. 2 through 5 to get the lead. Cannot get the lead, so it doesn't matter. So here's Christensen. 6-11. That's a ground ball. Pitcher X. Hurst is an E18. He's also a 3. So we'll see what happens on the 3 first of all. 3 and a 3. This could be problematic for Hurst. A 3 and a 3 is an SI1. He's also an E18. So in E18, he's got to avoid 11, 12, 14, and 17. Which he does, but it is a base hit, 1 star for Christensen. So Seattle on the move, trying to make a comeback. And here comes the hound dog, Jim Presley. Presley grounded to short his first time up. Bradley not being held at second. 3-9 for Presley against the lefty is a single to left field. Now the question is, Bradley not being held as a 17. Greenwell's a 0. 1-17. They will send him, and the Red Sox will give up that run and hold Christensen at second base. So the RBI single for the Hound Dog, Jim Presley, will score the speedy Phil Bradley. And all of a sudden now it is a 5-2 game. Still nobody out. And here's Alvin Davis. Lefty on lefty, 4-9, strikeout. That's the 5th strikeout for Bruce Hurst. And a big one. That will send up John Moses. 6-8, switch hitter. That's a walk. It's going to load the bases. Forgot to do the havoc roll, but that's okay. I'm not going to re-roll just because of that. So the bases are loaded now for Kearney. Infield looking for the double play. 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. Chance of a pass ball on Sullivan. He's a pass ball 14. It's a 19. He blocks it miraculously. So they're still in it. A double play gets him out of the inning. 3-8. It's a pop out to second base. Infield fly rule. Everybody has to hold. And now Hurst can get out of it. If he can retire Quinones, it is a clutch situation. Quinones in the clutch will lose a hit on 2-7. That's a 6-5 against that's a double to center field. A double to center field off the bat of Quinones on the 6-5 result. So scoring is Christensen, scoring is Presley. At first base is Moses. He's a 17, was not being held as an 18. +2 for 2 outs makes it a 20. But Evans is a -4 arm. So it's a 1-16, but they're going to send him, and Evans is throwing for the plate, which means Quinones is going to get third base regardless on the throw. But they're trying to throw out Moses at the plate. 1-16, he's safe. And he is. So it's a base clearing double from Quinones, and we now have a tie ball game just that quickly. Unbelievable. And I'm going to have to take a quick break for just a second. right, sorry about that. I had a phone call I had to take. So that kind of, I'm going to try to see if I can figure out how to edit that out of this so there's no big delay like that. At least that's going to be my attempt. So Quinones, now I'm trying to remember where I left off. Quinones made an out. I'm sorry, he doubled and went third on the throw. My bad. He had the bases loaded double. Went third on the throw with 2 outs. So that's where we're at. So you get a phone call, you get totally thrown out of whack. But we had the double. Quinones is now at third. 2 outs, Harold Reynolds. We are tied at 5 apiece. That's a 1. Chance of a wild pitch on Hurst. His wild pitch rating is a 3. If he does a wild pitch, the Mariners will have the lead. That is a wild pitch. So he's going to wild pitch in Quinones. And that's going to give the Mariners a 6-5 lead. So just when I thought it was going to be a blowout one way, the Mariners come back and take the lead. Hurst is now tired because of that. But he's going to stay in there to face Harold Reynolds. 2-11, and that is a ballpark single check. 1-5. That's a 15. So he will line it to Hoffman is short to end the inning, but it's a 5-run inning for the Mariners. Look at that, 9 runs in the 4th inning between the two teams. After the first 3 innings looked pretty promising for a pitching duel. But we go to the 5th. It is now Seattle 6 and Boston 5. And Hurst continues to struggle on this replay. In real world, he was 15-13 with a 4.41 ERA, but he is not pitching to that right now. So Bankhead gets a reprieve. He's got the lead back, and he's going to be facing Wade Boggs. Start us off, 5-7. And that's a single to center field for Boggs. What's new there? Leadoff single. Of course, Boggs will not be held. Here's Marty Barrett. He's flown to center twice. 3-3, and he will pop it up to the Hound Dog Presley for 1 away. So 0 for 3 for Barrett. Here comes Billy Buck. He's 1 for 2. 4-5. That's a fly to center field. Moses is there. 2 down. And that will send up Don Baylor. He is homered and walked. 1-6. He will ground it to third. Presley's there. He'll go to second the short way for the fielder's choice to retire Boggs at second, and that's going to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. It is still 6-5 Seattle. Hurst is tired, but he's going to pitch. He's going to continue to pitch tired because the bullpen is so bad that Boston doesn't trust the bullpen very much, I should say. So here's Donnell Nixon. 3-6 for Nixon, struck him out. So Hurst, fighting off the fatigue, gets another strikeout. I believe that's number 6 for him. That is 6 strikeouts. Here's Bradley. 4-8, and that's the 7th strikeout. So even though he's tired, he struck out the first 2 he faced. So mustering up some extra endurance. And here is Christensen. 2-9, and that's a ground ball to short. So an easy 1-2-3 inning for Hurst. Maybe he's better off pitching tired. He pitched better tired than he did when he was rested. So we go to the 6th. It is still 6-5 Seattle. And for the Red Sox, it'll be Evans, Greenwell, and Hoffman against Bankhead. This is the fatigue inning for Bankhead, number 6. Got to keep an eye on Bankhead to make sure that he doesn't hit fatigue. A dot's going to cause a base hit if he gives up 3 base runners. 3-6, and that's a walk. That's one of those base runners right there. Gives up 2 more in this inning. He will be fatigued. So Evans will walk. He will not be held. And here's Greenwell. Had that big grand slam his last time up. Greenwell now hitting .263 with 4 homers and 7 driven in and 19 at bats. Very productive. 4-7, and that's a single to center, so he continues to be productive. Evans will put on the brakes at second base. Not take any chances down by a run. Here's Hoffman. He's an A bunter, so he's going to be looking to bunt, although the bottom of the order is coming up. Doesn't look promising, but I think that's still the best play because Hoffman's a bad hitter. At least you can advance the runners. So the bunt's going to go towards, and according to the D6, it's going to go towards, the bunt will go towards the pitcher, Bankhead. He's an A bunter. Corners have come in, so he's a B bunter. So basically needs a 9 or less to have a good bunt. That's a 5, so that's a good sacrifice. Sacrifice will go 1-4. Bankhead to Reynolds covering because Reynolds learned to cover second on a bunt by watching Baseball Tonight. Or when he was a kid watching the Baseball Bunch. All right, so that brings up Sullivan now with runners at second and third and 1 out. The infield's the in for Seattle. They don't want a cheap run to come across the plate. Infield is in for Sullivan. He is 0 for 2. Cannot pinch hit. We're not in the 7th inning. 6-5, and doesn't matter. It's an in-home run chance straight up, but he's got weak power, but that's good enough for a 2-run single for Mark Sullivan. And that will give the Red Sox the lead, and that will make Scott Bankhead very, very tired right now. Bankhead is now tired. He's given up 7 runs. It is now a 7-6 game with Sullivan at first and 1 out. They're going to see if they can get Bankhead through the inning, if possible. Here's Ellis Burks, who's 0 for 2. That's a 4-9, and that is a fly to left field. We got lucky. 4-8 would have been a ballpark blast, but 4-9 is a fly ball to left for out number 2. And now with Boggs coming up, boy, they're gonna go to the bullpen. He's not gonna be able to finish the inning. They don't trust him to finish the inning. They're going to their left-handed reliever, Bill Wilkinson. So the Mariners will pull Bankhead and go to left-hander reliever, Bill Wilkinson, to face the left-hander Boggs. So Wilkinson will be coming on. He's a -1 hold with a +1, so that makes that a 0 again for the hold quotient. Let's get the numbers that we know on Bankhead. And those numbers equate to 5 2/3 innings. 7 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned, but he is responsible for Sullivan at first base. 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. And Wade Boggs is in to face Wilkinson. Let's get the numbers on Wilkinson, as Dick Williams has seen enough of Bankhead to last him a long time. So he's going to Wilkinson. And on the season replay, Wilkinson is 1-1 with a save, 4.35 earned run average, 10 innings pitched, 11 hits, 2 walks, and 13 strikeouts. So it's lefty on lefty against Wade Boggs, who is 2 for 3. It's a 6-5, and that is an in-home run chance, 1-7. That's a 16, though, so it'll be a fly to right field. So he escapes there, but 2 runs come in. They are charged to Bankhead. We can close the book on Bankhead now. And as it turns out, Bruce Hurst has a chance to get the win. Go to the bottom of the 6th, and it is still a 7-6 ball game, favor of the Red Sox. It'll be Presley, Davis, and Moses due up for the Mariners. 1-5, and that's a ground ball to short. Hoffman is there. 1 away. And that will take us to Alvin Davis. It's a 4-12, and that's a fly to center. Hauled in out there by Burks. Quickly 2 down, and Hurst, since he's gotten tired, has retired 6 in a row. So maybe he's better off being tired. 2-2 for Moses is a foul out to Sullivan. So that's another 1-2-3 inning for Hurst. So obviously he's going to continue into the 7th. We go to the 7th. It is still 7-6 Boston. Wilkinson back out. Has only faced one batter, so he's definitely good to go. He's going to be facing Barrett, Buckner, and Baylor for the Red Sox here in the top of the 7th. Move this over just a touch to make sure everything fits. All right, Wilkinson to Barrett. 0 for 3 for Barrett. 5-2 right-hander fly to left field. Phil Bradley is there. One down. It's going to bring up Billy Buck. 1-8 for Buckner. He's going to single. So base hit for Billy Buck. He is 2 for 4. Of course, he will not be held as he gimps around the bases. And it's going to send up Don Baylor. Wilkinson to Baylor. 1-8, and that's a walk. So Baylor will draw the base on balls. And now Wilkinson in a little bit of trouble, facing Dewey Evans. They could use a double play right about now. 3-7, but they get another walk instead. It's going to load the bases. For Greenwell, who last time the bases were loaded, he had a grand slam, but that was against the right-hander, not the left-hander. So we'll see if what he can do against the left-hander Wilkinson. Although Greenwell does have power against lefties, no doubt. Wilkinson to Greenwell. That's a 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. The infield was looking for the double play. Reynolds is a 2. See if they can turn the double play. 2 and a 6, probably not. It looks more like a fielder's choice if I had to guess, like a G2. 2-6 is a G2 pound, but nobody's being held on, so the pound's irrelevant. So it will be a fielder's choice that will score a run. He has to avoid 4, 13, and 17 to avoid an error. And that's a 13, so obviously Harold Reynolds didn't watch enough baseball tonight because he just booted it. So instead of getting at least the force out, they get nobody out. It's going to be an E4 on Reynolds, and everybody's safe. Another run comes in, and everybody moves up a base. One base error on Harold Reynolds. Now the score is 8-6. And Glenn Hoffman is your batter. And with righties coming up, it looks like they're going to go to righty out of the bullpen for Seattle. So that's going to be it for Wilkinson. And the Mariners will go to the bullpen. And they will bring on Ed Nunez. Ed Nunez is coming on to pitch. Get the numbers on Nunez. See what he can do against Hoffman and company. Nunez. He is a -4 hold, which makes that a -3, but I don't think that really matters that much because I don't think the Red Sox are looking to run. They're hitting the ball way too well for that. So it is Hoffman with 1 out, and the base is still loaded against Edwin Nunez. Nunez on the replay, 0-0 with 4 saves, an ERA of 0. 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, 4 walks, and 13 strikeouts. So Nunez in an enviable situation. Bases loaded. Infield is in. They don't trust the double play. They're going to bring the infield in. And if they hit one of those plus signs, so be it. But they just don't want to, on a ground ball B, they just don't give up a cheap run. So the infield is in. Nunez to Hoffman. That's a 2-7, and that's a 1-11 single. Anything else he lines to short, that's a 5. It's a base hit, 1 star. The merry-go-round continues with everybody moving up a base. They're doing the George Jefferson, moving on up. It is now 9-6 Seattle, trailing the Red Sox. And here's Mark Sullivan. That run, of course, is charged to Wilkinson. Get the totals on Wilkinson once this inning is over. Nunez to Sullivan. 4-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. Remember, the infield is in. Ground ball second base X, so we're giving Harold Reynolds another chance. 2-11. So let's see what happens on a 2-11. 2-11. 2-11 is a G1. So it would have been a chance for a double play had they been playing back, but they were playing in. E21, he's still got to avoid that 4, 13, and 17. 6, he barely does. It's a G1 with the base loaded. G1, bases are loaded, and the infield is in. It's a double play, 2-3, so it is going to be a double play. According to this, it's a double play, 1-2 or 4-2-3 is what it's going to be scored. A 4-2-3 double play, getting the slow running Sullivan to end the inning. So we go to the 7th inning stretch. Red Sox tack on 2 more, take a 9-6 lead. 7th inning stretch coming up, and we'll get the final numbers on Wilkinson and close the book on him. Hurst is going to stay in there for at least 1 more inning. He has pitched. He hasn't given up anything since he's gotten tired. He's retired 7 in a row since reaching fatigue. So the numbers on Wilkinson was not a pleasant outing for him. He goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up a hit and 2 runs. They were both earned. Walked 2, didn't strike anybody out. So 5 walks by the Seattle pitching staff has not helped the cause. Bruce Hurst, on the other hand, has only walked 1, struck out 7. So we will start the bottom of the 7th. Now we are able to use pinch hitters because we're at that part of the order, or those innings now where we're in the 7th and later that can use pinch hitters. However, they've only got 1 right-handed pinch hitter left. That's Domingo Ramos. Kearney is 0 for 2, but they're going to use Ramos to pinch hit for Kearney, and then Scott Bradley will stay in the game to catch. They do have another right-hander, Rich Renteria. I did get to mention that. So Kearney is going to be called back, and we're going to get a pinch hitter, and it's going to be Domingo Ramos. So Ramos will hit for Kearney. Ramos on the replay hitting 250s, 2 for 8 with a home run and a run driven in. So Ramos will hit for Kearney, and Bradley will stay in the game to catch. So let's update this for Ramos pinch hitting here in the 7th, and going to the 8th, Bradley will catch. All right. Let's check our room here and see if we still, we still got a little bit of room left. All right. So Ramos trying to get something started against Bruce Hurst. 4-7, that is a ground ball to shortstop X. That is Hoffman. He's a 3. 3-1, that's going to be a base hit. Checking for an error. He's an E12. To avoid an error on an E12, he has to avoid 15, 3, and 18. 15, 3, and 18. And he does, but it's going to be a base hit, pinch hit single for Ramos. He gets the pinch hit single. He will not be held. He's not a threat to steal. Here's Quinones. That's a 1. Chance of a wild pitch on Hurst, so it's a 3 or less. There is no wild pitch. Hurst to Quinones. 3-9, and that's a walk. So now Hurst might be really needing some relief. And I think they're going to pull him now because they don't want him to lose the game, or take the loss. He can still win it, but he can't lose it. So they will go to the bullpen, will the Red Sox, with much trepidation, very much trepidation. John McNamara is looking down at that bullpen and shaking his head and wondering, who in the heck can I go to? Who is safe to come out at night? Let's see here. Crawford's the most effective, but he's just totally overworked. Schiraldi's showing tired. They got Gardner and Woodward. They're going to go with Wes Gardner. Wes Gardner will come in and pitch, taking the place of Hurst. We'll do the numbers on Hurst when the inning is over. But they just couldn't go on with Hurst. They were playing with fire if they kept going there. So Gardner is your new pitcher. And the numbers on Gardner, he's 0-0 with an 8.31 earned run average. 9 innings pitched, 14 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. And Harold Reynolds is your batter. They're down by 3. If they were down by 2, he'd bunt to try to move the runners up. But down by 3, I don't think you want to give up outs. You need to get something going here. So Gardner pitching to Reynolds, who will turn around bat left-handed this time. 2-6, and that's a pop out to short. That's not going to help the cause. He pops out to short, 1 away, and takes us to Donnell Nixon, top of the order. Nixon against Gardner. That's a 4-5, and that's a ground ball second base C. That will move the runners up, but now there are 2 outs. So now it's down to Phil Bradley. Bradley has homered and singled. He's 2 for 3. But that was against Hurst. Let's see what he can do against the right-hander Gardner. Clutch situation, 3-4. Ground ball to short. Hoffman fields it, throws to first, and the inning's over. And Gardner pitches out of it. How about an actual good relief outing so far from a Red Sox reliever? Of course, there's still 2 more innings to go, so anything can happen. So Scott Bradley will come in and catch now in place of Ramos, who pinch hit for Kearney. Nunez will stay in the game to pitch. Now we'll get the final numbers on Hurst. Since the inning is over, we can do his completed numbers. Bruce Hurst is going to go 6 innings plus, because he pitched into the 7th. 6 hits. We call it a devilish outing. 6 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. So a lot of 6-6-6 there, but it's just the way it worked out on his line score. So now we're in the 8th. We'll come over here to give more room on this side so we can see what's going on with the score sheet. Ellis Burks will lead things off here in the top of the 8th of a 9-6 Red Sox lead. 2-4, that's a ballpark single. 1-5, that's a 14, so he's going to ground it to short. And there's 1 away. 1 down for Wade Boggs, who is 2 for 4 so far. 3-10, that's a 5, fly to right field, make him 2 for 5. As Christensen puts it away. And here's Marty Barrett. 4-3 for Nunez. Ground ball first base X. That is Davis. He's a 4-E9. So this could be trouble. 4-5 looks like it's going to be a base hit. 4-5 is going to be a single. He's an E9. He's got to avoid 7, 14, 17, 3, and 18. 12 is okay, but it's going to be a base hit. 2-out single for Marty Barrett as he sneaks it past Alvin Davis. Picked up speed on the AstroTurf and just kept flying. Barrett get the lead with a 4. Does not get the lead, so he will hold and will be held on. Here's Billy Buck. 6-10. Ballpark single check, 1-5. That's an 11, so he'll fly to left field to end the inning. So that's going to do it for the Red Sox in the top of the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is still a 9-6 ball game. And Gardner going to continue. They would love to get Schiraldi in there to give him some confidence, but he's tired. So according to the computer, he is tired. So if you bring him in, he's going to be fatigued immediately. So I think they're going to trust Gardner here. Let him see if he can finish the game for a save. Christensen is your batter, but he was mainly in there because of the lefty pitcher. Now that the righty's in there, they're going to the bench. Is Seattle. They will go with Mike Kingery. Kingery will pinch hit and stay in the game and play right field for Christensen. So Kingery it is. Kingery pinch hitting in the 8th. And then stays in to play right field in the 9th. And we'll get the numbers on Kingery, as he was just getting the game off because of the lefty starter. It's going to leave Phelps and Renteria, the only 2 batters remaining on the Seattle bench. Kingery hitting .293, 3 homers, 11 driven in. .210, and that's a 1-11 home run. That's a 7. Boy, talk about great managing. You just don't get that on another channel. I'm sorry. You just don't get that on those cookie cutter automated pilot managing channels. You do some real managing on this channel. Look at that. 210. 1-11 home run. That's a 7. It's gone. Kingery, home run number 4. RBI number 12. Cuts the lead to 9-7. And here comes the hound dog, Presley. 4-6, and that's a strikeout for Gardner. 1 away, and that's going to bring up Alvin Davis. 5-5, and that's a strikeout there. The dot's there, but he's not tired yet. So since the home run, he's got 2 strikeouts in a row, and here comes John Moses, center fielder. 3-6, and that's a ground ball to short to end the inning. But the run comes in on the pinch hit home run off the bat of Mike Kingery. And Kingery will stay in the game to play right field in the 9th inning. And Seattle might be going to the bullpen. Let's see what they want to do with that. Actually, you know what? They're going to stay with Nunez. He's not tired yet. They're going to stick with him. And Gardner's going to stay in there for Boston. So that's where we are. It'll be Baylor, Evans, and Greenwell due up for the Red Sox here in the 9th of a 9-7 ball game. All right, so Baylor it is. 5-11, that's a ballpark single check, 1-5. That's a 7. It was, I know it looked like a 2, but it was a 7 on this side. So that is a line out to short. On away. That will send up Dewey Evans. 5-10, that's another ballpark single check. This one's a 2, so this one will be good. Base hit. Evans will not be held. Here's Greenwell. Mariners do not have any more lefty relievers, so they can't bring a lefty in. 3-4, and that's a pop out to short or out number 2. 2 down, and here comes Hoffman. Nunez to Hoffman. 5-5, strikeout. There's dot there, but he's not tired. And that's going to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 9th, last chance for Seattle. They trail it 9-7. And Wes Gardner He's the man that is on the proverbial hot seat to get through the inning. He'll be facing Scott Bradley, Quinones, and Reynolds. But waiting in the wings is Ken Phelps, and he's going to be pinch hitting for Harold Reynolds. But first things first, we got Scott Bradley. His first at bat since coming in for defensive purposes. He is hitting .255, no homers, 8 driven in. It's a 4.8. Ground ball shortstop X. That is Hoffman. He's a 3E12. 3 and a 3. That's trouble for the shortstop. 3 and a 3. Base hit. He's an E12. Got to avoid 15, 3, and 18. Which he does, barely. But it is a base hit, leadoff single for Scott Bradley. So Bradley is aboard, and that brings up Quinones. .411. That's a ground ball first base X. That is Buckner. He's a 4. That could be problems. 4-2. That's going to get through for a base hit, maybe more. 4 and a 2 is an SI2, so that's going to advance. Even the slow running Bradley will make it to third. And now we're checking for an error. He's an E13. He's got to avoid 11, 13, and 17. 11, 13, and 17. And he does not. That's an 11. It will be an error on Buckner. E13 and 11. That's an error. That's going to score the run from third base. And it will move the other runner, the batter Quinones, to second base. He is the tying run at second base. How about that? So now they will let Harold Reynolds actually bat. He will actually bat for himself. Because if you bring in Phelps, they're just going to intentionally walk him. So we have a single plus the error. And that is on Buckner. Gardner is now tired in a 9-8 game with nobody out. And what do you do if you're Boston? I think you have to, even though you really overused him, I think you're going to have to go back to him because he's not physically, he's not tired. He's not showing tired on here, I don't think. Let's see, or is he? Yeah, everybody's showing tired according to the Red Sox bullpen. They've all got these little T's by their name. So, boy, who do you go to here? Actually, they're going to go to Joe Sambito. They're going to go to Sambito out of the bullpen, a lefty. They're hoping that keeps Phelps on the bench. So Joe Sambito it is. He will come in and place a Gardner. Reynolds is a switch hitter. But Sambito it is. And on the replay, Sambito 0-2 with an ERA of 13.50. 7 innings pitched, 14 hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He did have a good outing his last time up. I do remember that. So maybe that's something to build on. But right now, the tying run is in scoring position with nobody out, and Harold Reynolds, the batter. Switch hitter, turnaround bat right-handed against Sambito. 2-8, and that's a 1-7 double, but that's a 20, so it's a fly to left, and that's 1 away. So 1 down, and that's going to bring up Donnell Nixon. But again, by having Sambito in there, you kind of makes Seattle keep Phelps on the bench. So Nixon will bat. And on the game, Nixon is 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. .68, and that's a ground ball second base X. That is Marty Barrett. He's a 2. 2-19. And actually, was he a 3? No, they were not holding Quinones on, so he's a 2. 2-19. is no problem. That's a G1. The runner's going to advance to third, but they're going to try to avoid the error. Marty Barrett is an E11, so he's got to avoid 15, 17, and 18. Should be able to do that, you would think. And he does. So it's a 4-3 ground out that will move Quinones to third base, but now there are 2 outs. And we're down to Phil Bradley. With Kingery on deck, a lefty. So they are going to intentionally, but do you put the winning run on base is the question. That's the question. Do you put the winning run on base? They're going to walk Bradley. They will intentionally walk Bradley and make it a lefty on lefty matchup with Kingery. Lefty matchup. Sambito to Kingery. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. Clutch situation for Kingery against left-handers in the clutch. He will gain a hit on 1-3. It's a 4-8, and that is a strikeout, but he's tired. He is tired according to the computer. He is tired. But I'm not sure I'm buying that. See, I don't think he's really tired because he hasn't done anything here. He's gotten the out. So to me, that's a strikeout, and I'm going to end the ball game. I'm not going to play the computer's rule here. If I wasn't scoring this game on the computer, I would not call him tired. So I'm not going to start now and try to look inside things. So that's the ball game. Struck him out. Dick Williams might play it under protest, but I'm not going to worry about that. That's a strikeout in my book. And the final score is 9-8. Because if I was not scoring this game on the computer, if I just had the cards and dice, he would not be tired based on what he did in this game. Whereas he only faced, that was his 4th batter faced and gave up an intentional walk. So strikeout stands. That's the ruling. And there's your ball game. And we will go to the box score and get the totals. First off, the Red Sox are now 6-16. Seattle now 9-14. 9 runs, 11 hits, and an error for Boston. 8 runs, 9 hits, and an error for Seattle. Boston left 7 on. Seattle left 4 on. Complete Nunez's numbers, 2 2/3. He goes up 3 hits and no runs. 1 walk, no walks and strikeout. The losing pitcher is Bankhead, though. He drops to 1-1. So he will drop to 1-1 with that loss. The winner is Hurst. He goes to 1-3, gets his first win of the season. Bruce Hurst. Gardner pitches 2 innings, gives up 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 was earned. No walks and 2 strikeouts. So actually he pitched 2+. And Sambito pitched 1. Sambito gets his first save. He walked 1, struck out 1, didn't give up anything else. So there you go. If we had to pick a player of the game, it has to be Mike Greenwell. His grand slam in the 4th. Even though Seattle came back in front later, to me, that was the key blow. And then he also had a single. He was instrumental in the middle of the 6th and 7th rallies as well. So to me, Mike Greenwell is your player of the game. As Boston wins it by the score of 9-8. They are now 6-16. Seattle now 9-13. Game 146 in the books. Next game on the channel will be game 147, and that will be from Oakland. It will be the Milwaukee Brewers, and I believe that's Bill Wegman against Dave Stewart and the Oakland A's. That will be that will finish up the month of April. We'll be all done for the month of April, and then we'll give a recap video showing all the league leaders and team leaders for the month of April, and then we'll move right into the month of May. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced 1987 style. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.